Hello there, people of the internet. This video was kind of, it didn't really work out the way that I wanted it to work out, but I have enough good stuff in this video to the point where I'm still gonna go ahead and make this sitting down talking portion and put it out. So, originally I was hoping to get some ballistic gel for this video. That didn't work out, and the wind noise in this particular video was quite awful. I did get some usable video footage. As a matter of fact, here's a little piece of usable video footage. Man, I can't even see that little can of Spam out there, dude. I think it's about right here. I wish I had some spray paint. I'd like spray painted orange or something. I think I got it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell from all the way out here, but we're just gonna assume that I nailed it. So now, go for that other one. I like this magnifier better than the other thing. Alright, that one we nailed. So where that actually takes place, we are currently out at the old gun range. The thing is, I am across the field at the old gun range out to about 300 yards. As a matter of fact, here is a photo of what this actually looks like. It is definitely not something that people see very often. Now, at this particular spot, the gun range is way over here, and, well, I don't think that it's actually 300 yards we're at. We're probably more like 310 yards approximately. I kind of gauged the distance by walking, and my walks are a little bit more than 300 yards, so it was, well, my steps are a little bit more than 300 yards, so it was a little bit of a guesstimation. But I found myself a fence post to settle onto, and then I stuck a couple of targets out at about that 300 yard mark. Now, where this becomes interesting is I use two different rifles with the same ammunition. I have this rifle right here, which is an M16 inspired build, and a lot of people love this rifle, a lot of people hate this rifle. Quite frankly, I don't really care what your decisions are on it. But I went out and I got myself some Lake City 5.56, M193 5.56. And that's a 55 grain bullet that actually reaches 5.56 specifications. So that means over 3,200 feet per second. And as a matter of fact, there's some times where I will see this stuff reach up to 3,300 feet per second. It can be some spicy ammo. But the M16 inspired build, I got two different barrels for it. I got a 1 in 10 twist and a 1 in 12 twist. They're both M16 style pencil barrels, and quite frankly, I've used them both on this channel. So I stuck in the 1 in 12 twist. As a matter of fact, I still have the 1 in 12 twist in my rifle. I haven't quite swapped it out yet. But I stuck in the 1 in 12 twist barrel inside of my M16, and I have a 1 in 7 twist barrel inside of this AR platform. Both of these barrels are 20-inch barrels, and there's a bit of controversy with the twist rates, and that's what I wanted to go out and check. So normally whenever we see twist rate videos and whether or not it matters in terms of ballistic effect on target, we see people take a 1 in 12 or a 1 in 7 twist rifle and they'll shoot something, but that something is going to be within a distance to where the twist rate's not going to matter. As a matter of fact, for most people, most of us are shooting at distances to where twist rate's not going to matter. And we're not talking about bullet stabilization in terms of having a bullet be accurate. We're talking about effect of tumbling after it smacks into a gelatinous target. The idea being a 55 grain bullet can be stabilized by both a 1 in 7 and a 1 in 12 twist barrel. But the 1 in 12 twist barrel is spinning the bullet far slower, so whenever it smacks into a target, assuming that it's not going at a velocity to where no matter what twist rate it's spinning at, the bullet's just going to disintegrate, because that's what the 5.56 was designed to do. Yes, including full metal jackets. I've covered that in a previous video at some point. But The 5.56 is designed to go so fast that whenever it smacks into a gelatinous target, it fragments and dumps all of its energy onto that target. Well, if you touch out past that point where the 5.56 would normally fragment on that particular target, then you get into kind of like a gray area as to whether or not that bullet is going to tumble, which would then cause fragmentation because of that increased surface area dumping more energy onto that target, and it just lends itself to being torn apart more, or whether or not you're going to get an ice pick wound because the projectile more or less drills its way through the target. If the projectile is not spinning as fast, that means it's less stable. And I know that sounds bad, but it's not. But if it's not spinning as fast, then whenever it smacks into a target at those distances beyond just regular fragmentation velocities, then in theory, it should start to tumble pretty much immediately, or at least significantly faster than that faster twist rate, which is why we see evidence of the 1 in 12 twist barrel with a 55 grain bullet, full metal jacket, doing more damage to a gelatinous target than the faster spinning 1 in 7 twist barrel. And I know I've brought this up multiple times on this channel, and I get a lot of people that say, no, you're wrong because of XYZ video, and like I said before, XYZ video that some other YouTuber put up was them shooting at a target that was within the distances necessary to get 5.56 to fragment and dump its energy just from velocity. But you touch out past that, and apparently the difference is pretty staggering, and we kind of see that with this testing. Now, fair caveat, the difference was far more than I was expecting. I was expecting not what I saw, and it's to the point to where I want to go out and test this again. So this is just the first test, but we saw repeatedly sticking targets out at 300 yards, or a little over 300 yards. We saw repeatedly the 1 in 12 twist barrel did significantly more damage to targets than the 1 in 7 twist, simply because the bullet was less stable, and so it began to tumble basically immediately. We were past that point to where we got reliable fragmentation just from velocities because the bullets had slowed down to the point to where they likely were not going to fragment all that effectively on target. Whew, I got the hiccups. I'm sorry, guys. That's just something that happens whenever I talk a lot. I end up getting the hiccups. But we're past that point of velocity that is necessary to fragment the round, so now we're going to focus specifically on tumbling. So, I hate to say it, but I had like 8 different targets that I had to hit, and I spent like over 100 rounds trying to hit these things. I was quite upset with my levels of accuracy. And to be fair, 300 yards is a pretty fair distance. However, that being said, I still did manage to hit all of my targets, and in most of them, we'll go ahead and cover that here in a second, but in most of them, the 1 in 12 twist definitely did more damage, like significantly more damage to the targets than the 1 in 7 twist, to the point to where I feel like this needs further testing, and like I said, I'm just going to make this a part 1. There will definitely be more testing on this subject in the future. Okay, so the first thing I did was I set up water jugs. I get it, it's not ballistic gel. I got interrupted by the girlfriend bringing me french fries. Get your girlfriend that brings you french fries. But what was I talking about? The water jugs. I got me a list of things to talk about written down over here. So the water jugs, the difference was staggering between the two, just between the two twist rates. Like to the point to where I want to run that test again and see if we just had an anomaly because of how significant the difference was between these two rounds that smacked into this target. So water jugs, I ran Lake City 5.56 M193 through 2 20-inch barrels, and I think that I hit these ones pretty gosh darn well. I did miss a couple of rounds because again, it's a far distance, but both the same barrel lengths, both the same ammunition, just different twist rates with the rifles. So here is the water jug test. Whew. Holy crap. That is substantial. That's significant. This one was on the right. That was the 1 in 12. And that's the 1 in 7 at 300 yards. Same barrel length, both 20 inches. Same ammo, same magazine. The ammo even came from the same box. That's wild, dude. That's wild. Look, this one right here, we got like a little bit of a hole in it, and this one, holy crap. That is, I wish that I had more. I want to see if this was like an anomaly and if something funny happened, because sometimes funny things happen with cartridges, but dude, that is a pretty substantial difference. I'm doing a lot of walking today, holy crap. So as you saw from that, the difference was pretty significant, like a little bit more than I would come to expect just from twist rate, even at the distances that we were shooting. We might have seen something like this if we were out at farther distances, but like I said, the difference was just so wildly different. It was beyond what it was that I was expecting. So that is probably something I'm going to test again, because I want to see if it is just some kind of anomaly. Maybe something had happened. Maybe I struck somewhere that it's just one of those things that is beyond what I was expecting to the point to where I want to try it again. But that was all the water ejects that I had. So versus trying that again, we're going to go ahead and move on. Up next, I had some cans of Spam. Just, I guess it was generic Spam that I had sitting around, and I wanted to take it out and test it. And once again, we see the 1 in 12 twist do more damage to the can of Spam than the 1 in 7 twist. So here is the Spam test. Okay, survey says on these guys, I don't know if I'll be able to do this whole test. First time I shot at these things, I thought that I hit them, but I guess that I missed. Let's see what they got. Oh my god. Holy crap. Alright, I am not sure what to make of these. So this is the 1 in 7 one. We got an entrance wound there, absolutely bulged the can, and an exit wound there. And that's a pretty gnarly exit wound. I definitely wouldn't want to get hit with that. But dude, this can is just annihilated. It looks like we hit here, so we hit a little bit low, and that might have something to do with it. But holy crap, dude. That smells really bad. And I'm not sure where I should put this now that I would consider it garbage. Now comes the fun part. It's like 97 degrees out here today, guys. Can I get a like and a subscribe for this? Now with the Spam, it's obviously got like a metal can around it, and the reason why I chose to use the metal can of Spam is, one, I already had it available to me and I figured it would be fun to shoot, and two, that would kind of simulate other structure besides just gelatinous flesh. And once again, we see that 1 in 7 twist not doing as well as that 1 in 12 twist. So up next, I wanted to try just straight gelatinous material. So I had a couple of packs of Baloney, and I was going to use them for sandwiches, but I decided to shoot them instead because I guess that's just what Americans do. So I put these packs of Baloney out just to kind of see what kind of effect we get from these rifles. And here's the Baloney test. I don't know what conclusions I can draw from this because both of these were just completely annihilated. Whew. My God, it is hot out here. 97 degrees today. Hot Florida sun, high humidity. This sucks, but I'm having fun. I do notice that the 1 in 12 twist is blown in half versus the 1 in 7, which is like still a whole piece. But the Baloney is completely gone. So I guess I'll have to look on the camera to see which one of those look more impressive. So with the Baloney, I'm not sure what did better because both of these rifles pretty much just disintegrated the Baloney upon impact. So we're gonna go ahead and call this particular test a tie. I feel like if I had more Baloney, we would have seen a bigger result because we just had like one little package of each, but it was still fun to watch them get blown up. So, if you've been around on the channel, you've seen me shoot cans of corn before, just because it's an entertaining experiment, I guess. So I ended up putting out some cans of corn, just, you know, cheapo little targets that make a good splash if they get hit with enough energy. But I put out some cheapo cans of corn, and once again, we see the 1 in 12 twist outperform the 1 in 7, and the can of corn it's got like a metal can on it. That is a hard shell. And I was expecting this to be one of those examples where we get similar results, because that 5.56 smacking into that harder can should be enough to like disintegrate and fragment that 5.56, but I guess that it's not. Because, like I said, the 1 in 7 and the 1 in 12 twist, we see significant differences again. So at first, whenever I had started recording this video, with the water jugs, I was thinking to myself, maybe this is an anomaly, maybe something strange happened, you know, this is something we got to retest, and I still am going to retest that, because I want to see that happen again. And if I can get that to repeatedly happen, then it just goes to show that there is some validity between the twist rate and the tumbling effect on target. I'd like to get a 1 in 14 twist barrel and really see what these 5.56 55 grain projectiles can do, because that is what they are originally designed around. But I've only got the 1 in 12 twist barrel, so I guess that's what we're going to be going with. But after watching all of the tests and seeing the 1 in 12 outperform the 1 in 7 in damage and effect on target in basically every instance, I like the conclusion that I'm drawing is that the 1 in 7 twist and the 1 in 12 twist, the difference is staggering if you touch out at distances beyond just getting fragmentation from velocity. So I guess here's the corn test. Let me know what you guys think about it. All right, this is a target I've done a couple times on this channel because it's fun. Cans of corn. Nothing special about them, just cans of corn. I have no idea what the effects are going to be on these. We're probably going to see both of these do about the same damage to these cans of corn. But before I go saying that, let's find out, because some of these other targets have really surprised me at just how different they are. Oh, goddamn, guys. My legs are cramping. It tells me I'm dehydrated. Is that the can? Holy crap. What the? Oh my god. Okay. All right. That is once again a substantial difference. This is the 1 in 12. This is the 1 in 7. Oh god, I'm gonna black out here in a second. So 1 in 7. That's not a lot of damage. This right here is clearly our entrance. Right there. That's clearly our exit. Man, it really did just poke right through. And then the 1 in 12 absolutely disintegrated this thing. Whew. I walked over, well, like 2 kilometers setting all this up. Oh my god. And just like that, the next morning I went, never mind. Well, there was corn all over the place and things like corn. Anyway, as you can see from basically all of these tests besides the Baloney test, I feel like if I had more Baloney, then again we would probably see more of a difference, because I just had little tiny packs. But we see repeatedly that 1 in 12 twist outperformed that 1 in 7 twist at that 300-ish yards that I was at. So once you get out past the point of just velocity fragmenting your round, to the point to where the tumbling effect very much does matter, and the twist rate based off of how fast that bullet is spinning very much does matter, we see a staggering difference in the amount of energy transfer onto a target. Now, all of that being said, I'm sure some people are still going to say, well, what if you hit bone or something like that? Even in the instance of having harder material in the way that would normally, at least in my mind, fragment that 5.56 projectile, like with the metal cans that we had, we still saw instances where that 1 in 12 twist outperformed that 1 in 7 twist. So maybe there's some sciencey magic going on here. Maybe Eugene Stoner knew something that we didn't. maybe there was something here that legitimately, like, this is one of those things where I'm like, all right, this is real to the point to where it warrants more testing. So I would like to try, like, getting my hands on some Boston butts, of course some ballistic gel. I want to do the water jugs again. I'm definitely going to rerun this test to see if we get the same sort of results. However, all of this being said, with the limited testing that we have done so far, there's a staggering difference. Once you get past that point of velocity fragmenting your rounds, the difference is absolutely notable. And to put this in context of why people don't understand this, it's just a projectile that is moving super, super fast, and most people can't comprehend the science going on, like the science behind what's going on with that projectile and how fast it's spinning. Let's say you have like a top, like one of those tops that you put onto a table and you spin, like a dreidel, or pick your poison whenever it comes to your choice of childhood toy that spins on a table, I guess. If you take that top and you put it on the table and you spin it really fast, it's going to stay stable a lot longer than if you were to spin it really slow. That one that is spinning really slow is going to fall over easier than the one that is spinning really fast. And the one that is spinning really slow, if you were to touch it or poke it or utilize some kind of external force in order to destabilize that thing to where it falls over, it does so much easier than the one that is spinning super fast. And it is the same exact thing with bullets, and we see that if we get past the point of just fragmentation through velocity. So, this is part one of this particular test, and I definitely, absolutely am going to go out and test this more whenever I get the opportunity to. So thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day, and I will see you on the next episode.